nurses break down. We break down. And if we're not filling back our cup, we're going to end up just being unhappy because we're not working on self. I don't save my PTOs. We ain't going to roll over nothing. I'm using it. I got 12 hours in my bank. We using the 12 hours. It was hard. I'm not going to lie. I never invested like that in anything. And especially on myself. I never invested like that. I'm always looking for a coupon.
Hello and welcome back to the Balance to Excellence Show. I'm Dr. Judy Wright. For those of you who have been here, welcome back. And for those of you that are here for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. We love to have you here. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And definitely let us know any takeaways, any aha moments that you get during this episode. And while you're at it, go out and check the previous episodes. We are in season 3. So there are 2 other seasons that you can go back and look at. Today on the Balance to Excellence Show, I am delighted to be able to speak with Shaneika Saddler. She is a registered nurse with over 16 years of diverse experience in long-term care, in hospital settings, and in case management. In addition to that, in her clinical background, she's the founder of a healthcare staffing business, Wright Staff Recruitment, which she has been successfully running for the past 3 years. Now, if you know anything about business, okay, that's the mark right there, the 3 years. Okay, to be successful or the full. So she's doing her thing, right? But she's more than these roles as a nurse and an entrepreneur, business owner. She's the mom of 3. She's a mentor. She is a leader in the nursing community. She's very passionate about helping nurses build their confidence and embrace leadership and unlock their full potential. And her mission is to uplift others, not only in their nursing careers, but also in their lives, because she believes that personal growth is the foundation of professional success. See, now I can leave. I let you take over.
That was a great intro.
How are you doing today, Shaneika? How are you?
Amazing. I am so amazing. I'm so blessed. I'm just so grateful and thankful. I'm really doing really amazing in this time in my life. So I'm doing
wonderful, wonderful. And it took some back and forth for us to be able, because we're both super busy, for us to be able to be here, and we are here, and I am excited about it.
Today is supposed to be the day. Nothing happens before time.
Exactly. So let's start with your story. Like, what brought you to nursing and what has kept you in nursing? Because it's over 15 years. And so what has kept you in nursing?
I'm going to be so transparent, so honest. I'm a teen mom. I had my son at 19. He's 21 now. And I wanted to have a career, a longevity career. I didn't want to go from odd jobs to odd jobs. So I wanted something more sustainable. My mom is a nurse. So I saw her being a nurse all of my life. And I said, I'm going to be a nurse. I want to be a nurse. It's going to provide that financial stability for me and my son to have that life. So that was my first why. And then I got into nursing and I love it. I just love it. I think I have this love for like making people feel better, putting a smile on their face. They're sick, they're not feeling well, and I come in the room, I'm high energy, I always tell everyone I leave what I'm doing at whatever's going on in my personal life at the door. And when I come into the building, I'm all for my patients, my residents, and their family. And I just fell in love with it. Fell in love with it. And I was like, wow, 16 years. I've been a nurse for 16 years. I'm like, okay, Shaneika. Yeah, so I just truly love it. I just fell in love with it. Fell in love with just the care I can give. I can't give everyone care, but the care I can give to a small few to change their life, it means a lot to me.
Yes, I love that. So let me just say this. When I was in residency, and residency was not easy, I'd be like, oh my goodness, and we'd be rounding. And the only people that would make me feel less sorry for myself and more sorry for them are the nursing students that I would see. I'm like, why are y'all doing them like that? Oh. I don't know if it's because my sister's a nurse and I knew what she went through. I'd be like, forget my pain. Why y'all doing them like that? Right? And so that's no easy feat, especially when you're trying to take care of a child. That's no easy feat to go through nursing school. And I used to marvel at the people who were in medical school raising kids. I'm like, not me. And so tell us about that. Like, what got you through that? Like,
Wow. So my son he was 5 when I started nursing school. So he was just in pre-K, I believe. So I had an amazing support system. I didn't do it by myself. I had my mom, my dad, my sister. So I didn't even think when I saw my son, I knew he was fed, clothed, family was a lot of help. And I was really just dedicated. I just wanted it so bad. I just wanted to change. I just wanted it. Like I gave myself no other option, no room to fail. Like studying, staying up all night, cramming, just studying enough, staying up enough, having enough energy just to go past the test, and then doing it again the next week, and then doing
yes,
it again
yes, because that's not
and
right.
I'm like, okay, Jaden, you okay? Okay, you fed, you ate. Okay, you good? Okay, you good? And that's what I was. And I just wanted it so bad. Sometimes you just want to change in your life and you just give yourself no other option. And I gave myself no other option. And I surprised myself at how well I did in nursing school, but I just really wanted it bad. And I love to learn. I love to learn. I love to learn new things. So studying and learning about like diseases in your bodies and all of that stuff was very like, oh my God,
Yeah.
can happen, like that can happen and stuff like that. So that's what got me through it. And I had a great support system. I can't take that from my family. They really supported me through that journey at that time when I was in school.
Now, do you have, like, I'm sure there are several. I mean, you've been in this for 16 years already, but can you remember just one of a particular story that really impacted you as a nurse?
Yes.
That's like stuck with you, like, yeah, that's it. Whether it's oh my God, whether it's that's why I do what I do,
Mm.
one particular story.
I have a lot of stories, but this one always stuck with me because it was the first time I cried as a nurse for a patient. I was doing a travel assignment in North Carolina. I was in the small community hospital, very friendly. Everybody know everybody. It's a small community hospital, and we had this patient, and her family was from New York. I'm from New York, so we kind of bonded and we spoke about New York. And she had cancer. She had stage 4 cancer. I believe it was lung cancer. This was probably in 2018. They was doing all the treatments, trying to get her better. The doctors would come and stuff like that. She was on oxygen and stuff like that. She was there for probably about a week. And talking to her daughter, said, "Hey, I'm going to take a break. I'll be right back. I'm just going to grab something to eat." And they called me and said that she passed away during my break. And I was like, "No, I was like, stop joking with me. I just want me to get up. Y'all don't want to see me sit down." Just joking with the nurses. I was like, "No, like she passed away. Your patient is not breathing. She passed away." Daughter was there and she passed away. Now in North Carolina, like unlike some state, two nurse can pronounce death until the doctor comes.
Oh, okay, okay.
Right? So we with the stethoscope make sure they don't have a apical pulse. So we went in there and we pronounced, and I was like, I just left her 5-10 minutes ago. I know she was stage 4. She didn't even get to be on hospice or anything, and she passed away. And I left the room and I went in the room and I started crying. It's like I felt her pain. Like I felt it. Like I never felt like that for a patient before. Like, you don't want to see nobody bad, but I just started crying and I started crying and I started crying and I started crying and I started crying. And I was like, why am I crying for this lady? What am I doing? And I just started crying and I really felt it for her. And that really always stuck with me. But on the other hand, I was glad that I was the nurse to take care of her until she passed away. And I was able to communicate with her family and bond with her family and hug her daughter. And, I would never forget that patient. And I have a
Yeah,
lot of one really stuck with me because I
yeah,
was,
I can understand, and a lot of the people don't realize it. We see a lot of patients all the time, right?
yes,
And the beauty of why I ask you that this is because um it's not a mill for us.
no,
A lot of people think, oh, you guys are just milling it out and trying to
mhm,
make that money. First of all, are you talking about? If I work for this place, I'm not making that money. It's not coming directly to me. What are you talking about, right? But also the stories are important to us. People are always like, "How the heck did you remember that?" Right? Like they could come to me about a patient or a member and start talking to me, and I said, "Oh yeah, that member that blah blah blah, da, 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 da," and remember that detail, right?
yes,
It helps me to understand, it helps me to connect, it helps me to put myself in their shoes, put
Yes.
my if I've met the family and I'm trying to make a decision, right? It helps. And so, that's what you did. You connected with the patient, you connected with the patient's family, you connected, and you connected on that high level, and you were doing things for this patient, and that's why it affected you like that, right? We could come in, we are really often taught to be somewhat stoic without people saying be stoic, because of because of that, right? Because we know we have to keep going. We have other patients we have to take
Yes.
care of, right? So, but sometimes, and more than sometimes, it's okay to stop and feel, and you'll cry, and then you'll wipe your tears, and now I
Yes.
gotta go take care of those other patients, right? you know, uh, yeah. So that's such a story, and I can see, like, even now I can see with you, you're like, but it's true. It's great that you were the one that was taking care of them, and you did get to connect to her family, and they were in North Carolina, coming from New York. Shout out New York, because that's where I'm originally from too. So now I didn't even realize you did travel nursing as well, right?
I
You
did
did,
travel nursing before COVID, when it was like a low key, before it was social media hot. Yeah.
right? Right? I like that social media. I like that.
I'm like, I traveled. Yes. And I love travel nursing because every hospital I went to, I learned something new.
Yes.
Yes, I learned something new. I learned a new way of doing things. I met a lot of great people I'm still connecting with, especially like those small country towns and stuff like that. They're really community. Like, I believe those were like the best nurses I work with, because everybody knows everybody. Everybody going to everybody's house after the shift. They really, everybody go to church if they off on Sunday. They really know each other. The patients know each other and stuff like that. And it was really beautiful to see the teamwork, because I never experienced that. No fault to New York. Could be a dog eat dog world in New York. But it's just how it is. But in those small communities, I really learned what true nursing was. True
Yeah.
was, truly like advocating for your patient. They taught me a lot, like to advocate. If you feel something is wrong, it's okay to let the doctor know, hey doc, I'm with this patient, this is different, that is different, because the doctors don't spend as much time, and it's not that they don't want to. I always tell people they cannot
Right.
have the capacity to. So I understand that. So I have the capacity to spend the time with the family, to talk with the family for 20 or a half an hour, however long they want to, if the time permitted, and to relate to the doctor and paint a great picture for the doctor to why I have this opinion, or why I'm suggesting this for that family or that patient at the time. So
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, it's the pyramid, right? Like,
Yeah.
your patients are here, not because they're low on the totem pole. No, but there's this many patients, and then
Yes.
there's this many nurses, and then there's the doctor here, right? So it's like, you know,
It's and they're
help
over
guys.
too.
What did you learn? Help me. you know, it's
Yes.
so important.
They have a whole, they be having like 40 patients. They be having the whole unit sometimes, and we only got like 5 patients. So we got to give them grace too. But a lot of people don't understand that. You got to give the doctor grace.
So you've worked in long-term care and hospitals, and you've done case management, which is a whole other spectrum of the healthcare space. And so what has working in those different and you've done the travel nursing, what is working in all of these different types of settings, and not just the settings, but just the different aspects and levels of healthcare? What did those experiences teach you about, the patient care and the professional growth part? Because I will say this, I would imagine
Mm-hmm.
being in all those spaces, there is a level of flexibility that you have that other people cannot understand.
Yes, long term care. I love long term care. Because like you say, like you hear the stories. You hear the stories. Like I currently do PRN at a veterans home.
Okay.
And for veterans, mostly male, we have a couple of female, but to hear their stories, to hear me
Mm.
tell you about, oh, I went to Vietnam and I got shot. I went to Vietnam and this happened. I went to Vietnam and that happened. Or I went to the Gulf War or that happened. Like just to hear that. We have a patient that's 104, and I believe he was in World War II. How? I'm like, oh my God, imagine what he has saw. Imagine, like, just to hear that story. Like, I have front row seat of these stories. Like, yeah, they're
Yeah.
patient, but I get to hear their story. So I love long term care for that. And a lot of them are in the last stages of their life. So if I can provide a level of comfort, a level of compassion, their family are not always there, their family are not always there to take care of them, I can provide that. The hospital setting is more of a skillful setting. Like that's where you put your skills into practice. Hospitals are in, they're out. They like to treat them, and they're in, they're out. You don't really get to connect with them, but not as in long-term care. But I still love the hospital setting. That's where you go and your skills blossom. Case management. I did case management in home. Some people call it home care or home care, but it's case management. That's what I knew it as when I did it. I love that because what I realized about that, I realized that people heal better in their environment when they're home.
Yes.
Yeah, so I love it. And I was able to connect more. I didn't have to rush to another patient. Nobody was calling me and stuff like that. So I really got to connect more with the family and the patient and to hear their stories too and what they're needing at that moment in time. So I love case management. I loved it. And the flexibility it gave you. I was finished with my work like 12 o'clock. I do my documentation. I could go to my kids' school. So I loved it. And it's a different level of healing at home than when you're in a facility. So I learned a lot about with case management and what suits the patient better, what care settings suit the patient better and why they heal better in certain care settings. So
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, my sister did case management for a similar reason. She liked for lack of a better, or maybe that is the better word, she liked the intimacy of it and really understanding, because when somebody is in the let's say rehab, let's say somebody's in rehab or they're in the hospital, right? You
Mhm.
could be prescribing all kinds of things, but the people that get to see them in that space really gets to understand what they truly need
Mhm.
in the space,
Yes.
right? Because homes are configured differently. I also have done long-term care, and I do it I have to make decisions from a health insurance perspective. And
Yeah.
I'm always like, especially when they want to do a home modification, I was like, I need all the pictures. I need the pictures to show me almost like you're walking me through. If you can send me a video, even better. I really want to understand, because even something as, you go up the stairs, it's narrow stairs. Now,
Mhm.
you were in New York. We saw all of these. Narrow stairs, right? You get to the top of the landing, right?
Mhm.
Please do not give these people these big old chunky DMEs. They can't even turn and pivot properly to get, because that landing is so small. And on
Yeah.
top of that, if they are from any like maybe immigrant background, they're gonna have some big fake flower vase in this very small landing. And
There's so much stuff going up every step of the hallway and the plastic
yes,
cushion stairs, the carpet on the stairs and the plastic on top of the stairs.
that's all a hazard. I to them about fall risk, and they're like, "Yes, I'm not getting rid of this, but I'm not getting." I'm like, but so that's where having that relationship and building that rapport becomes so important, because you gotta kind of convince these people that this is problematic for you, because they're not listening to you the first time you say it. But if you build trust with them, you can. My eyes are bothering me. You can build that rapport,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll realize, oh, she's not saying it just to like have me get rid of a bunch of my stuff. She's really concerned that I'm gonna have a problem here. All right. So
It's safe to go home. Oh, they're gonna move everything. We'd be like, what? I don't think it's a safe discharge. Oh, we're gonna get rid of everything now.
everything gotta go.
It's so true.
Everything gotta go. Even if we have to hide it, everything gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So yeah, my sister did that, and she liked that as well, but she also liked the flexibility, right?
Yeah.
Her as my niece was growing, she knew I could go pick her up. I could make sure I get homework done. Then I could sit down, I could finish out my paperwork. She liked the flexibility,
Yes,
right?
great flexibility.
Yes, absolutely.
Flexibility in home care. Great.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned something, and I love this. Love this. You mentioned that personal growth is key to professional success, because a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
when we're talking about growth, development, everybody's like, oh, okay, professional development, professional growth. And I'm like, no, I'm talking about whole growth. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Stop acting like one doesn't affect the other, right? It's kind of like the whole idea of work-life balance, which I don't like. Right. So I always say life balance, because I was like, work is not on a different planet. It's part of life. What do
Absolutely.
you mean? All right. So one is going to affect the other. So Can you talk about more about your thoughts on how that personal growth is so foundational as
Yes.
well?
So when I was a baby nurse, it was all work. It was never me. It was never Shaneika. It was never what I wanted. It was all work, 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 because I chose this career. I went to school for 4 years, 3.5 years. I think I did accelerated. I don't know, so long. And it's just work. And I was just time to just work, right? I never choose me. I was never developing me. I was never
Mhm.
experiencing what I wanted to experience. It was not until I moved out of New York and I moved to North Carolina in 2017 when I really had to like, wait, I'm a nurse, but I'm just a nurse.
Mm.
Attached to this title. Why do I
Mm.
like you can call me a CNA, baby. So, because I'm a nurse, right? I was so attached to that title. So now what if the title is removed? What if I'm not a nurse anymore? Who is Shaneika?
Mm.
So I had to really figure out who I was. And it was not until I really sat down and be like, okay, this is Shaneika. I need to develop Shaneika first. I need to, heal and do all the things that Shaneika needs so I could be the nurse that my patient needs. Because you ever see a nurse and she just have a bad attitude,
Okay.
she complains about everything. You could give her the best assignment, like all the walkie talkies, the patient that go to the bathroom, the patients that don't need anything, and she's just sad. She's just depressed. It's because something internally is not working for her. Something personally is not working for her. So it's going to affect her professionalism and her professional development because that inner self is just not working. She may not like her job. She's just probably just there for a check. And it
Mhm.
happened. She probably want to grow and probably want to go into another field or do something else, but she just feels stuck.
Right.
And so that professional development, that's not going to skyrocket. It's not going to go anywhere. You're going to feel like you're in a box and you're going to feel stuck. So it wasn't until I figured out who Shaneika without this title, who Shaneika that's not the nurse. What does Shaneika really love? What does Shaneika really enjoy? What do I want to do? That I started growing professionally. It was not until then I was just being a nurse. I was just writing on the title.
That is so good. Because we do, and a lot of people, and that's where some of the burnout comes from, the depression
Yes.
comes from. A lot of people have defined themselves by this one thing. And if
Mhm.
that one thing is not working out well, not working as they expected,
Yes.
I always tell people, so for you, you saw your mom be a nurse and you decided this is a great way. I'm going to make a good life for myself, my child,
Mhm.
and I'm going to forge ahead, right? And whenever you made that decision, you put your foot down to the ground and your head to the grind and you just boom, boom, boom. And then when you were done, it was boom, 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 work, 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 right? And
Mhm.
so Shanika became the nurse who's a mom,
Yes.
right? Okay. That's years of work. And you begin to define yourself as that. And the moment it's not the way you viewed it, or even if it's about you're burning out, because that's one of the parts of burning out, right? You
Yeah.
start to wonder, what is it all for? Like, why am I doing this? Like, and then you're like, who am I really? Like, what? Because you're literally burning out and you're like, I don't want to do this no more. And if I don't do this no more, then who am I? Because I'm the nurse, I'm the doctor, I'm the this, I'm the that.
Yes. That is so true. You burn out mentally before you burn out physically.
Yes.
And it's a real strain. It is
Yeah.
a real strain.
When you start to feel detached, now you're feeling detached from the identity that you took years to build.
Feeling detached. I had workplace anxiety. Like I would be driving to work and I was like, I wonder if a cop could pull me over so I don't have to go to work. I wonder if my tire could blow out.
Whoa, Shanique.
I wonder if my battery could die. Oh, because okay, I know I have to provide copies on my PTOs. Listen, when I get PTO, I use it right away. I don't save my PTOs. We ain't gonna roll over nothing. I'm using it. I got 12 hours in my bank. We using the 12 hours.
Using the trouble.
And I was see the mental health day. That's what the excuse I said to myself. But I was really burning out and I couldn't identify with it. I used to have workplace anxiety. I hope I don't get the worst assignment. They always giving me the worst assignment. I hope I don't get the worst patient. I hope they don't put me with that person. I hope they don't do all of this mental,
Before
even
you can
before I
even
even get in my car.
already like,
Getting dressed. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta drive and I gotta stop to get a coffee because I'm drained. No natural energy. And then you
yeah.
just go and then you just get through the day and then it's like you just get off the elevator and just And then you look on the board, why y'all give me that? Why am I all the way down? I was over. You just complaining all the way the whole day. And
Right.
why y'all give me 5 patients? I'm supposed to have 4. Oh, but you're not gonna have an admission. I don't care. I'm supposed to, like just all of that mental anguish. But what I really had to realize was I was mad at Shaneika. I was disappointed in Shaneika because Shaneika wasn't doing what she wanted to do. Shaneika wasn't doing what pleases Shaneika. Shaneika wasn't experiencing the life that Shaneika wanted to experience. So I'm trying to take it out on everybody outside until I had to figure out it's an inner work.
It's the inner,
It's
it's
an
the,
inner work.
like, even as you're talking, I was like, some of the first signs that I was headed toward burnout, and I didn't even realize it. So I always took off, right? Christmas to New, because my favorite holiday is the first day of the year, right?
Mm.
New Year's Day is my favorite holiday. And from Christmas to New Year's, I would take it off, spend time with my children, get ready, have a little party on New Year's Day. Not New Year's Eve, I could care less about that. But New Year's Day, I would have a little get together and stuff like that. And then January 2nd, I'd be right back at work. Because I don't want to waste any more of my PTOs. PTOs are vacation. I don't want to waste. And suddenly one year I was like, yeah, I'll come back January 6th. and and that probably was the first sign.
I was
Because
burnt.
I wasn't even trying to, that I was, and and all the way to next year, I was like, yeah, I'll come back. Yeah, I'm going to finish out the week and I'll come back.
It's true.
Right? And not even realizing those were the first signs. I was like, I don't even I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it at all. So it's, yeah, but, and I love how you said this. You were like, not that I love that you were mad at yourself, Shaneika, but I love how you said the realization came that you weren't even mad at them.
No.
You were mad at you. You realized there was something that you had let go, that you weren't focusing on, and who else was there to blame. And I love that, because when I tell people, yeah, I could be blaming other people. Yes, there was stuff that was happening at work and whatever, but what did I do, right? Because it's not the first time I had felt this way, and it wasn't even the same job, right? So I got to start looking at me, right?
You take yourself with you wherever you go. You thought it was a job, and then 6 months in, you're like, "Well, I feel the same way. I'm
Right,
leaving again."
I'm leaving again.
There's somewhere along the line, be like, "Wait, well, this thing is following me around. It must be me."
Right.
Right.
I was like, do you just not want to work? Are you lazy? Like, what's happening? So I started looking, but when the time came, I had to sit down and say, girl,
Mm-hmm.
why is it like this? What are you not doing? And really do that work, and understanding that I had let my boundaries slip, and I keep doing
Yeah.
that, and I had, right? So there was work I had to do with me before I start looking at external stuff, right?
Yes. Always in a work first.
Always in a work first. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So good. So good.
Yes.
So let's talk leadership. Like, how do you find leadership in nursing? Like, what does that look like?
Leadership is, how can I say this? Leadership is encouraging, motivating, inspiring your team, no matter who's on your team, to be their best self. That's leadership for me. Leadership is not do this, do this, do this. Is you act in a way, do they have the capacity to carry this out? That's leadership, because I want you to do it as your best self, in
Yeah.
the best way, so we can have the best outcome, not only for the patient, but for you.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to experience that, and I want you to have joy in doing that. So when I go into work, I'm there I think that's why I never really got into management, because I like being on the floor. I like knowing what's like going on.
Mm-hmm.
But as a nurse, you are leading, especially if you're a charge nurse and stuff like that, you are leading. So when I go to work, I'm looking at the whole picture. Who is going to fit best in this role with these patients? I don't want you to be burnout as an aide or as an LPN. I don't want the patients to be upset. I just want us to coexist together. So if you can go over here and be your best self with these patients and take care of them the better, and you're going to be good for the rest of the day, and you're going to have a smile on your face, and we all could laugh and joke and kiki and take care of the patients, that's where I'm going to put you. And I believe that's true leadership. Leadership is not looking at just get the job done.
Yes. Yeah. So let's start right here, because this is where a gem just got dropped, because you said, as a nurse, you're a leader.
Yes.
Even more so when you're a charge nurse, but you said, as a nurse, you're a leader. So
Yes.
any of the nurses in there, they're leaders, right? And you also said, I think that's why I didn't go into management. This is the key right here, right? Because a lot of people think, well, the leader is the person that they put in the title that they're the leader.
Yes.
That's the leader, right? And that's the person with the title as the leader, right? But leadership is so much more than that, right? What you just said, right? Like, because as a person that there's always a hierarchy, yes, right? And when I got into corporate, there was all this talk. When I got into corporate, I had to learn all kinds of lingo. But there's all this talk about your direct reports and then those that are a dotted line, because there's a hierarchy, and even though they may not directly report to you, they still know they kind of
They
talk.
know.
You're right. They know the hierarchy, right? And so whatever shadow you cast is important, right? Because those people are still looking to you as their leader, even though you're not their direct
Leader.
leader, they're still looking to you as a leader. But similarly, you can have people who are lateral to you, who are leaders in their own right. Like if I like one of the nurses at one of my jobs, we're actually friends to this day, but which is weird because I don't make too many friends at work. She is one of those people that can pick up anything IT like that, right? So she became the SME. She became the expert, subject matter expert, when we were changing IT platforms. She was sitting on those meetings. Then she'd have to come back and bring to us. And I'd be sitting there like, I don't know what you're talking about. That what I heard was some old Charlie Brown wah 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 wah, right? Like I didn't, and to this day, if I'm like on my MacBook, I'll reach out to her and be like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to do with this, and she'll laugh and she said, let me walk you through it, right? Like, she was a leader. And she was a lead, like her natural sense of being was
Yes.
a leader,
Here.
right? But in that, she definitely was a leader. Like we bring different things to the table. So when you said, as a nurse, you're a leader, right? And I want to make sure I want to make sure you, if I'm a registered nurse, you're an LPN, or if you're you use another term,
The CNA. Like this.
CNA on the floor, I want to make sure you're good too. Like we are a team, right?
Yes.
And I want to make sure you're good too,
Yes.
right? And how can I make it easier for you, which will then make it easier for me, right? Like if I'm leading correctly. So
Yeah.
I love that because I think a lot of people, they get stuck on title.
Yes. Listen, I show up to work, and I feel like when you're open, and you have to be open too as a leader. You can't judge, you can't criticize, you can't talk down to, because people will close off. They will close
Yeah.
off. Because I'm not gonna go talk to Nurse Shaneika because she's gonna judge me.
Mm.
If one of my aides, one of my patient, one of my nurses come to me and say something to me, I'm going to investigate it. I'm going to believe them. I'm going to trust them. Their truth, their word is their truth. They never give me anything to say that they're not until I know differently. So you
Right.
have to be open. You can't judge, you can't criticize.
Yeah.
Because these are the people I spend more time at work than I do at home, right? So these are like my second family. Right. And they will be open and they will talk to you. And when you do that, it's so easy to lead. It is so easy to lead. You don't have to be a do this, do this, do this, do that.
Yeah.
They'll just do it. This is what Nurse Shaneika expect. I'm gonna do it.
That's it. And I'm telling you in a way, not in a you better do it way. It's more of a, so I'm gonna ask these questions, and the more I ask it, now you realize, and now you're coming to me with the answers before I ask it.
Next to
Or, I say this often because when my husband said it is when it made sense to me. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm shocked. They just agreed to do that. And he said, why are you shocked? And I was like, because I asked them to like come on and help me do something. He was like, yeah, but you garner loyalty. And he
Yeah.
said, you garner loyalty because you respect people.
Yes.
So a lot of people think to get them to do that, you got to pay them more money. And I'm not saying people don't deserve their money. People absolutely deserve their money. I want everybody to understand you deserve your money,
Your
right?
point. Yes.
But it's amazing how people will do
Mm-hmm.
because they came in here to work, and they will actually go the extra mile because they feel respected and they feel protected.
Yes. Yes, that is so true. I tell people like you don't have to lead with an iron fist. I see management and it's like if you don't do this, you're gonna get written up. And I'm like, we're not kids. Writing up who? What you gonna do? Call my mother? That's just my attitude sometimes. And you're gonna write me up. And I'd say just like I said, writing up is an old school way to scare people into doing what they want to do. They do not care because they have a lot. People find out that they have a lot of options. So if you're going to go with this totalitarian or totalitarian, like we're going to write you up if you don't do this, they're going to be like, well, I don't have to work here. What is
I,
another way for us to reach them is to write. People don't care about no written up. Like they,
I love when people say, well, why didn't your person do this? And why didn't your person do that? And and I'm like, so I'm grown and that person is about 8 years younger than me.
you're an adult too.
I can't look, I can lead. I can't make anybody do anything, right? So it's important to lead from a place of respect because
Yes.
that's how they'll do stuff. Not because I made you do it. I actually don't want to make you do anything.
And
You
it's
know?
also important for us to learn their story too. I learned that in leadership
Yeah.
because, not because they're a CNA or they're LP and they don't have an amazing story. I've met CNAs that are just working just to work, and their husband has businesses and they don't even have to be here. And I'm like, girl, why are you here? You could be home. No, I want to work because of me. So sometimes we look at a person's title and we feel like, oh, they're just a CNA or they're just an LP or they're just this. I love to hear your story.
Oh
What
my
do you?
God. It's so good. I used to work
Mhm.
at a federally qualified health center, and there was this one medical assistant that they always took that the midwife, she always took her into the room. And I figure, we were in a neighborhood that had a lot of Latino people, some undocumented didn't speak. And she also had an accent, right? And what happened is one day I was sitting down and talking to Clara. I sure was. And what I found out
Mhm.
is that she had been an OBGYN in her own country.
Yes, I have met those too. I have met
Okay.
that were doctors in their countries.
And she came here and she's like, I can't go through all of that again.
Yes.
Right? But
Mhm.
she knew healthcare. And so she went and she got certified to be a medical assistant. And,
Mhm.
we used to talk all the time because she used to make me laugh because I didn't have children yet. And she was just like, I had to tell my son, you have one job. It is to be a student. I work hard so you can not have to work. It is to be. And I used to laugh. I said, you are not playing any games. And then once I found out, I understood because she's like, this woman literally
Mhm.
and there's nothing wrong with being a medical assistant, but she took a step back because she had come to another country. And she's like, I'm not going through all that again to go through medical school and stuff. So she like kind of took a step back. But the reason that midwife knew that, I had not known that, right?
Mhm.
Now I always spoke to her with respect, but I had not known that. And when I knew that, it was like, wow.
Yes. That's why we have to be. That's why we have to what is your story? That's why I talk to every single body down to the even the housekeepers. I'd be like that listen, I was like, girl, what's my Spanish lesson today? Teach me something in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
I speak to everybody because at the end of the day, I don't know your story, right? And where no one is better than anyone.
Right.
And if I need something and me and the housekeepers is friend, I'm gonna get it. I don't even have to go
You
anywhere.
don't have to, you don't even have I mean, I worked in corrections for a few months, and I'm telling you, these corrections officers were like treating me like gold. But I was like, oh, that must be just how they treat the doctor. I found out that was not necessarily, right? And I was like, okay, they just were about it. They, and I loved working with them. Absolutely loved working. I knew that if anything went down,
You
they
were
was gonna be in there. Like,
and you treated them with respect and you made them everybody want to feel like there's someone. No one want to feel no matter how they think of themselves, they still want to feel like there's someone. And if you
yes,
do that for them, even in a 12-hour, 8-hour shift, however long you work, you're gonna have somebody that's gonna ride for you.
absolutely, always, and yes, sometimes it's kind of like the lunch ladies. Ain't nothing like when the lunch ladies at the school ride for you. Like sometimes you know what I mean. Like You gotta,
Yeah.
I understand the hierarchy, but when it all comes down to it, we're all human. And
Girl,
you need to treat it accordingly. And the same thing with the patients. I'm not making all those assumptions. We want to know your story. We want to know your story. We're not making all those assumptions.
yes, yes.
Yes.
You can hear some of the stories. I'd be like, wow, imagine. I think I heard Oprah said it, and that had changed my perspective. She said, when you see someone, don't judge them. Try to
Don't,
figure out what their story is, and it would amaze you.
you have no idea.
No idea. And that from when I heard Oprah said, I was like, wow, I want to know their story.
I mean, but seriously though, like honestly, if you've never seen the movie Coming to America, look, that's a lot of people's story. Do not judge. You don't know what's going on.
I
You
and
don't know what's going on.
know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. We're just at work. You don't know
Yeah.
what's really going on. So
Right.
I learned that. And it made me a better leader. It made me a better person. You know, it made me a better person. I go to work so much more happy. They'd be like, why are you always laughing? I'd be like, because life is good. My life is good. So now I don't get that mental anxiety. I don't get that. But I just walk into work so happy. Like, what we doing today? Okay, well, you know, like I just walk into work and I'm just today I was leaving. I left early because I had to come record this. And it was like, where you going? I was like, I'm leaving. They're like, why are you leaving? Because I gotta go. I got somebody like, and that made me feel real good. Like, oh my God, you guys really do like me. So yeah, like
Yeah,
leadership is like one of the, and that's something that you learn as you learn you learn people, and you learn how to respect them, and you learn not to judge them, and more of motivation and inspire and stuff, and asking them, what can I do for you, instead of saying, what can you do for me? And that will make you a great leader, because people always need to be motivated and inspired.
absolutely. Absolutely. So now we spoke about you being employed, whether it be, as a travel nurse, whether it be as staff, whether it be in direct patient care or the case management of patient care. But here we are, year three of you having started a healthcare staffing business. So now I want to know, I feel like I might, but I want to know how we got here.
It was it was it was a divine moment. Really wanted to be home. I have an older son,
Mhm.
and I missed a lot of his school years because I was in the grind and hustle, going to school, grinding, making sure he's okay. And when I looked up, he was graduating high school.
Oh my. Okay.
Like, wait, Dad, Jaden is graduating high school. Never showed up, and like I was never able to show up at any of his events because I had to work, or stuff like that. And I have two daughters, two younger
Mhm.
daughters, 12 and 10. And all I asked God was for. I'm saying, when you ask God for something, you better be ready to feel it. All I asked God for was, I just want to be home. I just want to be home with them. I just want to just show up at their events. I just want to bring them to school. That's all I want, God. Give me an idea, something I could do. And I tried other business, like the clothing business, like stuff out of nursing before. And then
Mhm.
I heard a lady, that's why representation matters. She was a Black nurse, and she was telling her story, how she got fired, and then how she started her own healthcare staffing agency. And I contacted her, and I paid the fee. It was my tax return. I never paid for mentorship before. It was my whole $5,000. And I was like, I don't know if it's going to work, but God's telling me to do it. And I paid her, and she mentored me. And I just write it. I just learned. I taught myself, and I just learned with her help, obviously. And I just learned, and I just built my company, and it changed my life. It really changed my life.
I love that. I love that, right? Because it is a leap of faith. But I also love the fact that you were like, well, I'm gonna take this 5,000 that
The government gave me.
the government, the government gave me back, right? The government gave me back. And I probably had that 5,000 already spent 12 ways in my head, but right now
Hmm.
I'm gonna take it and take this leap of faith and put it in this, right? Because I will tell you that prior to 20, I want to say prior to 2017, you could not come to me to talk about, oh, why don't you get some coaching done? I've been
Mm-mm.
to enough school. I've paid enough people. I'm still out here paying people in the form of a loan. No, right? That's how I felt. But in 2017, I was like, there was something I wanted to do, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this leap
Mhm.
and pay for a coach, right? And I did that. And something I had wanted to do for 10 years, I was able to do in under one, uh,
Mm.
because I went and got there's coach, right? And so just you invest, because that's what that is. You invested in you,
Yes.
right? You invested in yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so many of us go to school, and school matters. I get it, but there's parts of life you ain't gonna learn in
Mm-mm.
school.
No.
So you need to do a little more extra. And it's one of the reasons for me that, learning what I know from school, what I know from my own life experience, what I
Mm-hmm.
went through. And because the great thing about getting coaching is being able to condense, we don't got all that time.
No.
You, I hear people say all the time, and I was there with them 10 years ago. I was on that same train. I could look that all up on Google. Why would I pay?
Google going to Google you wrong.
Who's on Google you confused?
And
Because
wrong. You're gonna be
because
out
there
of
will
time.
be 5 different avenues. Now you confused. You don't know which avenue to
Yeah,
take. You don't know how to vet which one is the right one for you. You
exactly.
don't know. So yeah, you could do it, and then you can make a whole lot of mistakes, and there's nothing wrong with mistakes. But if you need to condense time, though,
With somebody that already did the experience, already crossed their I's, dot their T's, did all the good stuff. And you're gonna make that money back if you're truly passionate about what you're
if
doing.
you are truly passionate about it, because sometimes, look, I invested in coaching that once I was done, I realized I don't want to do that. And that may seem like, well, then you just wasted your money. No, I didn't just waste my money, right?
You
It
got
now
what you want to do.
I don't want to do that. But there's a variation that I actually do want to do. That's not what they taught, but now I realize this one wasn't for me, and I can shut the door on that,
Yeah.
Whereas I could have wasted a whole bunch of time looking all that stuff up and be confused.
Google me wrong. That's
You know,
that's so
so
true.
I'm so glad that you invest, and that's what I tell people all the time. Because as I coach people on burnout and how I'm of the camp. Yes, I want people to recover from burnout, but I'm of the camp. Can we prevent it?
Mm,
Can we prevent it? Can we start here? Don't wait till you crashing and burning. Can we start here so you can have the tools, right, to not get to there
that's
repeatedly, right? And so that investment in yourself, that's the best $5,000 you ever spent.
listen. It was hard. I'm not gonna lie. I never invested like that in anything, and especially on myself. I never invested like that. I'm always looking for a coupon.
Right?
Do you got a coupon? Do you got a listen? We need to go. But it was worth it, and she was like, she was interviewing other nurses that she had helped, and like their story was like, oh my god, they're just like me, and it was the best $5,000 I ever spent. Like, yes, it was so worth it, and that was the first time I ever got coaching. First time, never coached, never did anything.
Yeah,
That was the first time I ever got coaching.
time.
First time.
It's
I,
the first time you ever got coaching, because a lot of people are like, I'm gonna do this and that's it. And when I did it in 2017, I was gonna do this and that's it. I have been coached. Like the running joke now is Judy just got handfuls of coaches. Yeah, because Judy don't got time. I don't have time to be sitting here trying to do all the research myself. You've
yes.
been through it. You've been through the mistakes. Look, I had a coach that I went and told her this is what I wanted. She wasn't my coach. I just went in for a consultation. When we finished the consultation, she said, "You're not gonna be happy with me, but this is what I really think you need." And I looked at her like she was crazy. And she was right. She
Mm,
was right. Why? Because she had made all those hits and mistakes and whatever have you. And that is not. And I realized, because I had been in her group, that that's not what she tells everybody. Because sometimes people will make it seem like, oh, this is, I made it specific to you, and it really isn't. No, I was one of the few people she had ever told that, and I was like,
that's good.
you know,
The coaching is important. Mentorship is important. We want to collapse time.
yes.
By building generational wealth, well, we need to collapse time to do that. And someone else that has done it and has figured it out, and they're going to lead you to the right way. Now, every coach is not for everyone. So you have to find out who jives with you, because everybody's learning style is different. And she really jived with me. She was a single mom, just like me. She started as a nurse, just like me. She had a son, just like me. And she was really, I could just feel her compassion for wanting me to win and wanting me to, she asked me about my goals. It wasn't just about, okay, this is a coach and here you're what are your goals?
Which is why.
What's your why? What's your
What's
why
your
outside of the business? Like, yeah, we're going to build this business, but what's your why? What's the goals for Shaneika and stuff like that? Really inspirational. I was like, oh my God, I can talk to her all day. Okay, my therapist slash
Yes,
coach. Yeah, so it was amazing. She was really, 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 really good. Really good.
that's wonderful. Now, this is important because, and I'm not saying that if you're like me, I don't know if you are, but if you're like me, I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm also employed, right?
Mhm. Me
But
too.
there still has to be a mindset shift,
Oh, yeah.
right? Ooh, there's a mindset shift from clinician to CEO, and that's a steep
It's a pressure
climb. Let's just call it a steep climb.
going up or down. Which way we go?
Yeah, it's just, what would you say was your biggest mindset shift to help you get into that CEO mindset?
Just to believe in myself. I tell people, they ask me, how did you? I said, I tell people this, if you don't want to pay for a therapist, start a business because the barriers you're going to have to break down within yourself to believe in yourself, that's therapy. I went through a lot of barriers I have to break down. Why am I good enough to have this staffing contracts? Why am I deserving enough to have these nurses working for me? Why should they work for Shaneika, the nurse?
Mm,
So I had to like believe in myself. When the business was going up and down, I had to trust in God that says if one door closed, another door will open.
right.
I never had that. I was just going, going, going. But when I started the business, it was just like a shift in yourself that you have to believe you can build this. You do deserve this. I
Yeah,
didn't put this in your lap just to say, just for the LLC and the foundation. No, you can really build this.
you
So
can
the
really
mindset
do it.
that you can really build it, you can believe in yourself, and that it's gonna work out. Like the believe in yourself. Oh my God, I had to. I had nights where I was like, I'm gonna shut it down. And if I'm gonna shut it down. I can't do this. And Shanika, you're gonna believe in this. This is
You're
what you
gonna
said.
get believe.
This is what you told God you want. He's just giving you what you want. He's just pruning you. He's just crushing you. You know, that mindset shift is so important.
Absolutely,
Important.
absolutely. So now
Hmm.
you said, God, I want to be home, right? So now a way was made, and so you are balancing being employed, you're balancing family life, you're balancing entrepreneurship. What helps you to stay grounded?
I am a true believer in self. I'm a
Mm,
true believer in inner work. I meditate, I pray, I go on my walks, I read a lot. I love learning something new. And I really do a lot of self reflection every day. Even if it's just 5 minutes sitting in my car when I'm at lunch or, when I'm at home, I do a lot of self reflection. And I,
mm,
and I really sit down with my feelings and my thoughts and why do we feel this way? And what's going on, especially when there's a lot of resistance or a lot of anxiety, because you still get that. You're human.
yes.
Really sitting with myself, why am
Yeah.
I feeling this way right now?
I'm gonna stop you for a moment
I'm human, yes.
because I want you to say that again, Shanika, because I think people, even as I, talk
Mhm.
about burnout prevention, right? I'm like, please don't get it twisted. I have moments of anxiety. There are depressed moments, and there are times where I have to call myself back before I'm about to burn out, right? Like, so I got to. So please, just say that again so that they understand.
Yeah, you have like no, like the anxiety, and you have to take time for yourself. I have to take time for myself.
Yes.
I have to, because I do feel when I am doing too much. I do feel that. I do feel when I'm doing too much. I do feel like when I'm putting too much on my plate. And I come up with this thing that said it's okay. It's okay to take things off my plate. It's okay because I have to be okay. And I had to learn that I had to learn that I have to be okay. So if I can't do this within my capacity right now, then I can't do it. And then I learned how to say no.
Mm,
Can you do overtime? No.
mm.
Can you show up here? No, I can't. I don't say no like that though. I said I don't have the capacity to do that for you right now.
Because look, I do believe that no is a full sentence. I do.
Yes.
I really do. But also
Hmm.
there's a time and a place for everything,
Yes.
right? If you want to still have a job, you might not want to just be like, no. in people's faces, but there's a way you can say things. And I always tell people, not only that, there's a way you can say it, and maybe it's not completely no, maybe it's not right now, not
Yeah.
at this time. Because
Mhm.
maybe you look at that and it is actually interesting to you, but right now you can't do that.
That's why I said I don't have the capacity to do it.
Yes.
The capacity. I have too much on my plate. And if I add you onto my plate is going to be running over where I don't have the capacity to do anything well. So I don't have the capacity to do that for you right now. So I feel like it's better than saying no. Because when you say no, they feel like you got an attitude and all of that other stuff. No, I can't do that. I tell my friends no. Oh girl, my no is strong. I had to learn that too because I was such a people pleaser. I was such a people
That's
pleaser.
something that you had to learn your way out of, right? You had to unlearn the people pleasing.
Yes, and when you say yes to something but that you really wanted to say no to, you get anxiety. Why did I say that? How
I
can
did
I get out of this? Can they call me and tell me they don't want me to do it again?
And you know what else? You would think, next time I'm gonna be better. No, you won't,
You know,
because you haven't exercised that muscle. Next
yes.
time you won't be better. Next time when they ask you to do something, you're gonna be like, okay.
And I'm
And
gonna show I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and you be like, wait, where am I?
Mhm.
Yeah, and that caused burned out too. So you burned out at work, you burned out in your personal life, you're not going to even know who you are. So I had to learn that, like, stop people pleasing, they'll be all right. We all have capacity to do greatness, not just me. So I have to allow you to have the capacity to do your greatness too. And I don't have to be there.
That part. I'm gonna get to the last couple of questions I have for you. This has been so good. I'm like, we can like shoot the breeze for another hour, but we're not going to, right? But
Freeze, that's old school. They don't know about that one. It's really New York.
I'm good in myself. Damn,
It's really New York. Shoot the breeze. New York.
that's old school. These New York, like, or the other one, but I'm not gonna curse, so I'm not gonna say that one. But shoot the okay. But yeah, so I'm going to ask those last few questions. But before we do, if you're still here with us, thank you so much for being here. We are very happy to have you here. And if you are still here and you have not liked, comment, or shared, or subscribed, why not? What you doing? Right? So get out there, like, comment, subscribe, and share with somebody you know can benefit from this conversation. We talk to a lot of healthcare professionals here, but I'm here to tell you that the stuff that we're saying, that these healthcare professionals are saying, can
Mhm.
apply to so many people. So please share with somebody that you know can benefit from that. And thank you so much. All right. So put your thinking caps on. Okay. If you could go back and talk to your younger self, like the new grad nurse, baby nurse, you called it, version of Shaneika, what would you tell her?
Just go for it. There's no, you are your own cap. Like, just go for it. Whatever
Mm,
you want to do, go for it. It's going to work out.
you're your own cap.
Yeah, you are your own cap. You're the one that put the cap on the bottle and say, this is all I can do. Just go for it. Live out loud. Don't be afraid. I had a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, like just being in like, I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to. This is the box they put me in and I have to stay in this box. No, jump out of that box, girl.
Mm,
Let's go. Sky's the limit. I would have started my business years ago because I always wanted to start a business, but I just didn't believe I could. Or I
right,
didn't see anyone like me that was doing what I wanted to do.
right,
And
right.
Google me wrong because I did Google. I'm not gonna lie. I Googled and Googled me wrong.
Wrong for me. She said, Google me wrong.
Google gave me all the wrong answers. I was like, oh, I don't have the capacity to do that. So yeah, so I would tell my young, just go for it, girl. It's gonna all work out. It always work out.
Wonderful. And what would you want other nurses that are listening to you, other nurses in general and other nurses that look like you, because you said something today, you said representation matters, because it does. So what would you want other nurses and professionals listening today to walk away remember?
To put you first. To put you first. PTOs, when you get 12 hours on the clock, you better use it. No, for real. You got 12 hours? Okay, I'm gonna take a day off. You have to put you first. You have to take care of this vessel, this.
Mm,
You have to take care of that first so you can show up and be your best professional self, your best personal self, you have to take care of you first.
Absolute. When I
That
tell
hospital
people
system is going to be there. The long-term care is going to be
that
there.
part,
The travel nurse is not new. It's just social media new. Everything is going to be there.
yeah, NBC used to say, if you haven't seen it, it's new to you, right? Travel nursing is just social media new. It's social media
You.
now. But like you, my friend has been doing it for years. She had been doing it for years. I was like, you became like a little expert on how to travel, do your thing, make your most money, and go about your business.
Yes, take care of you first. Show up if you have kids. Show up for them kids at school if you can. If it's in, I take when my kids have something at school. I am always there. I can't work that day. I'm switching with somebody, and if I got a PTO, we PTO in it. But like I said, when my son got to high school, and I was like, oh my God, so it made me show up differently for my girls, and that makes me feel better. Like I'm doing what I love. I'm doing what I want to do. I love my job, but I love my personal life better.
That is that, and when I tell people prioritize yourself, so for some people that sounds foreign. No, I mean it. Prioritize yourself and other people, right? Because a lot of stuff we go and doing, we're doing this, even our self care, right? Stop being a damn self care martyr. Even our self care, we're like, well, I'm doing this, so it's better for other people. Okay, I need you to stop thinking about that and start thinking about what are you going to get out of it? And
Yeah.
if you do it that way, other people will end up by fault being collateral beneficiaries of how you feel about yourself. But
Yeah.
don't worry about that. Worry about yourself.
Put you
Because
first.
we don't do that enough.
Yes, you have to. Especially as nurses, we deal with a lot of emotional stuff.
Yes.
Dying, seeing patients in their lowest, family. We deal with a lot. That's a heavy emotions we go on home with.
Yes.
Not emotionally capable to handle that. Nurses break down. We break down. And if we're not filling back our cup, we're going to continue to break down.
Yes.
We're going to get mentally frustrated, mentally anxiety. We are. We're going to end up hating our job, end up hating our life, just end up just being unhappy because we're not working on self. So we really have to put ourselves first.
And here's my last question.
We done? Why?
How does Shaneika Saddler, registered nurse, CEO of her healthcare staffing company, mom, just all around good person, how does Shaneika Saddler define excellence?
Excellence. I define excellence as showing up as who God wants me to be. That's my excellence. Showing up as who God wants me to be. Imperfect, probably saying the wrong thing, just showing up as who God wants me to be and accepting that. I accept who I am. I just truly accept who I am and in all God wants me to be. And that's how I'm able to show up in excellence. Because I know I'm not showing up perfect. I know I'm not showing up the smartest or the brightest, but I'm showing up.
Yes.
I'm showing up. And I'm going to show out.
You might end it with, but I'm here.
Yes.
I'm showing up. Okay.
In full capacity. Yes. Laugh and we're going to joke, but we're going to get it done and we're going to have a good time and we're going to put ourselves first. So that's how I show up.
Yes. Shaneika, it's been a pleasure. It really has. It's been so many good things to learn from you, and I hope all of the audiences really come back, watch it again, take notes. There's so much here, so much fullness here, and like I said, there's so much here for everybody that everybody can learn from. So take those notes. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, share with a friend, share with several people. Don't stop at one. Okay, don't put a cap on it, as Shaneika said. Okay, and we will see you next time. All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Thank you. Bye for now.